The sun vanishes at noon, the birds go silent, and your ancestors have no idea if the light is ever coming back. A field, midday. The sun begins to disappear, and the temperature drops within seconds. This happened again and again across tens of thousands of years of human history, in hundreds of places, long before anyone could explain why. Before writing, before agriculture, before cities, humans were already obsessive skywatchers, because the heavens were their only clock, calendar, and warning system. For a person tens of thousands of years ago, a solar eclipse was not a scheduled curiosity. It was the most predictable object in existence simply vanishing. Archaeoastronomer Anthony Aveni has traced eclipse records across dozens of ancient cultures, and the pattern repeats everywhere. Fear first, then explanation, then ritual. More than 2,700 years ago, Assyrian court astronomers logged eclipses in cuneiform. When darkness fell without warning, kings placed a stand-in on the throne to absorb the danger meant for them. An empire with armies and irrigation systems still responded to a shadow crossing the sun with a fake king. Not blind superstition, a rational answer to something that felt like reality breaking. Go back further to rock walls in what is now the American Southwest, before kings, before writing. In 1054 AD, a star exploded. For weeks, the light of the Crab Nebula supernova was visible even in daylight. Astronomer E.C. Krupp has studied rock art at sites like White Mesa in Arizona, carvings of a crescent moon beside a brilliant star, made by people with no telescopes and no science to explain what they witnessed. Picture that night, a small group outside their shelter, staring at a sky that has looked the same their entire lives, now holding a light that should not exist. Within days, someone climbs the rock face and carves the moment into stone, so it will not be forgotten. Astonishment turned into permanent memory. But cosmic disruption did not only produce fear. It produced infrastructure. At Nabta Playa in southern Egypt, archaeologist J. McKim Malville identified a megalithic stone circle nearly 7,000 years old, older than Stonehenge, aligned with the summer solstice. This was built by cattle herders in a land where drought could kill without warning. Reading the sky correctly meant predicting the rains. Getting it wrong could mean starvation. So they built a structure out of stone, not to worship an unpredictable universe, but to read it a season ahead. Here is the twist. Cosmic terror did not make early humans more superstitious and less rational. It pushed them toward some of the earliest systematic science on record. Eclipse cycles, solstice points, star risings, tracked, recorded, eventually predicted, all driven by the anxiety of not knowing when the sky might turn. Religion and astronomy were never separate pursuits. They were the same pursuit, wearing different clothes until observation quietly outpaced ritual. And this did not stay buried in the past. Psychologists have found humans are more distressed by unpredictable threats than by predictable ones, even when the predictable threat is worse. A storm with a warning feels manageable. A sudden, silent shift does not. That asymmetry likely traces back to tens of thousands of years spent depending on a sky that was almost always reliable, and occasionally was not. You see it today in different clothing. A sudden market crash unsettles people more than a slow decline, even with identical losses. A relationship that changes without warning creates more anxiety than one that was always difficult. This is why eclipse watching parties still draw millions of people into fields, phones raised, waiting for the sky to do something it almost never does. For a few minutes, the light fails and the world goes quiet, and you are standing in the exact same posture your ancestors held 40,000 years ago, small beneath a sky that has always demanded to be watched.